Welcome back. We're making content here in Utah. Lots and lots of very high quality content in the field of the arts and media. And for me, it is an absolute pleasure and really stokes me out to know that there are so many groups of people working on multiple projects in the case of tonight's conversation, as with last night's conversation about our friends from The Outpost, premiering tonight on the CW and produced and shot right here in the great state of Utah. Our filmmaker friends they've finished their film. We're going to talk a little bit more about what the end of finishing a film looks like, but in any case, they have reached that milestone. This is another production that Utah is the centerpiece of, without a doubt. And my guests this evening are the producer and the writer-director, respectively. It's Ben Lanoha and Jonathan Green. I got them backwards. Producer and writer-director. I should have said them in series.
It's all good.
In any case, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Other monsters.
Yeah, we're stoked
We finally got
about
it done.
Yeah, a year and a half after shooting,
Yeah.
it took to edit the project and get it to where it's totally finished and stuff. But yeah, we're there.
And in that year and a half, what percentage of time is like active, like in the dark room, cutting, editing, reconfiguring the storyline and the shots and everything?
I mean, on this one, it was our editor worked, I mean, literally like a year and a half. I mean, she had a full-time job, but is also an editor, so she would edit in her time after work. And so, I mean, it was literally a year and a half of her coming home. You know, she would edit for 6 hours a night, you know, stuff like that. So, and it was a tricky film to edit because it jumps around in time. And so there's kind of a flashback structure to it, and so I mean it just took a year and a half to find the right structure for it. I mean you could have gone like a million different ways, and so it's not like your kind of traditional conventional film that just goes from A to Z.
Sure.
And so it was really hard to find it, but she did a great job with it. So.
And it occurs to me that we're better equipped as viewers of film to do that kind of time shifting, but that also means that we're better consumers of it. So, right, even if you're not consciously thinking about it, I'm imagining your job and your editor's job in that process that you have to look at it this bit 1,000 times a day. Does it work? Does it work? Does it work? Is it clear? From one shot, from one scene to the next.
And yet that's something that Ben wanted to do from the beginning as a director. He wanted to have post-production be free enough to play with structure and play with cutting it in different ways. So it wasn't all, he wasn't stuck to cutting to the script. We shot to a script, but he wanted to be able to have the flexibility to shift things around and see if we can make something better, because post-production is often a phase where you're rewriting a lot. And so he gave his editor the freedom to kind of recraft, rewrite, and then that year and a half, that takes a long time, because once you're at locked picture, you can't go back. So you send it to color and sound, you can't go back. And so that's where
it's terrifying.
It's a big commitment.
To be like, okay, we're gonna just leave it. Yeah,
it's a big commitment.
Yeah. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, like John was saying, like the edit's the last rewrite. Right, that's the last time where you can shift things around and stuff, and so I mean it's almost like rewriting the film, and so it just took a really long time. And we'd have screenings, and we'd get input and notes and stuff, and kind of be like, we got to go back to the drawing board on this or whatever. But so it's time consuming, but we're really happy with the final product. So,
and it occurs to me that in design and engineering, that the concept of modularity, it's like you start from there on every project you do, and of course, not being a filmmaker, maybe my outsider's view is not quite spot on, but it sounds like the approach that you guys took gave you sort of additional resources in terms of flexibility during that process, which is cool. And
it's
good
cool.
Science.
I mean, but you can also give yourself, you can kind of like, you have so much rope you hang yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like you can give yourself too much flexibility, or it's like, we could sit here and tinker with this forever, but at some point you just have to say, this feels right, we're gonna move forward with this section or whatever. And so,
So tell folks the plot line and the feel and the, I don't know, I don't think I've ever asked this question of all the filmmakers I've ever interviewed before, but maybe the goal of the film. I guess it doesn't have to have an objective or anything, but
I mean, I
maybe
think,
there was.
I mean, in terms of the plot, I sort of describe it as like a romantic revenge thriller, because it's equal parts revenge thriller and love story. You know, in terms of like the flashback, we sort of see how this guy's relationship developed with this person and why he's doing what he's doing in the present day. And so it jumps around, you know, in that sense. So it's a little bit of both, I would say, in terms of it's kind of a heartfelt film, but it's also pretty hard and gritty. You know, I don't know, in terms of the goal of the film, I mean, you know, I wrote the script like 4 years ago. You know, there was, I mean, my goal was to write a film that could be shot in Salt Lake City and that we could produce here in Salt Lake City. And, you know, obviously, you know, the end game is to make your money back. So, you know, that's what's next for us, you know, and we're looking at like how to do that. You know, I mean, film is such a mixed bag of, you know, you want it to be commercially successful, but you also want it to be artistically successful, right? And so when you write something, you want that expression to come out and you want people to recognize it and be into it. And so I feel like we achieved that personally. Like, I think the artistic side of it, like, we kind of hit what we wanted to hit. And now it's just a matter of, you know, making sure that we get the right deal with the right distribution company and reach that commercial success.
And that's something that's unique to indie films is you get an opportunity to present something more honest, something that people can relate to in a very honest way, as opposed to just doing something that's commercially marketable. You know?
Absolutely.
And so, you know, Other Monsters is a hybrid. It's marketable because it's a revenge thriller, right? But there's a lot of honest moments in it that you wouldn't see in a typical commercial film, and that's what makes it unique.
And I would posit that the idea, if not the ideal, of going for some sort of paradigm of commercial success isn't any easier, really, than to say, we're going to make the film that we want to make, and we want to make art the point. We want to make storytelling the point, and then people get to resonate with something authentic that they go, I get where you were when you sat down and went, 2 lines of the idea for the script, as opposed to going, you know, which way is the wind blowing, and
because you can't chase a trend, right? I mean, and we don't have the money to chase a trend. We're not going to make an Avengers film.
Jonathan was 6.5% short of enough drone footage for a hit.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we have to work with what we have, and what we have is, you know, we can write a great script. You know, we can cast great actors. We can film in great locations, and we can do the best, you know, we can with our limited resources. But I think you're right. Like, I would much rather watch a film that's low budget, and, you know, maybe its production values aren't on the scale of a $200 million film, but it has a heart, you know, and it's saying something. You know, to me that just, you know, I connect with that a lot more, and so I think that's what we were trying to do, and I feel like we did we came really, really close to, like, I mean, not close, I think we did it, so. Yeah.
Well, and especially, and I always love to sort of cite what symphonic music and filmmaking is kind of the ultimate creative, artistic, collaborative media, and certainly to get to that point where you say, yeah, we like it, is, I mean, that's an incredible achievement when you consider the infinite number of moving parts.
That and the amount of time and emotional investment, especially for people like us, producer and director. It's you know, you go through, for him, 4 or 5 years, and for me, 2 or 3, and at the end, you want something you're proud of, not just something that is easy to sell, you know, and that's kind of what we're going through right now. We had distribution offers before we even finished the film, and so distribution is not our problem. Getting the money back is not going to be a problem, but right now we're looking for a distributor that like loves the film, that says, I want to take some risks that other ones won't, because, you know.
I think of the analogy of the band that's spent their whole lives putting together this amazing album, and then they sell it to a record company who goes, you know, we're not going to release it right now.
Right. We'll just put it on the shelf.
We're just going to put it on the shelf. It's no good. Hey, guys, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, talk a little bit about the future, both for this film and for you guys individually.
Sweet. Sounds good.
All right, it's Ben and Jonathan, Other Monsters. The conversation continues right after this. Welcome back. We are discussing the recently completed film Other Monsters with its producer, Jonathan Green, and its writer-director, Ben Lanoha. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
So, as you said, you've had interest in the film already. You've had offers, so you could have sort of gotten beyond that moment of anxiety of will we ever sell the film? Will we ever secure distribution for the film? Talk about what you're thinking now, what your outlook is for this segment of the release of the film.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it on the drive up. With indie films, you never really know what you have until you test it with an audience, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait on distribution for about 6 to 8 months, submit it to a bunch of festivals to get audience reactions, and we had our private cast and crew screener a few weeks ago, and everyone reacted really, really well. And there's a lot of people there for the cast and crew, which were supportive, but there are also half the people that had never worked on the film.
Right.
Or
They're
seen the
just
film,
friends or
so-
family of people. And
Yeah.
The other thing is that cast and crew, as rooting and cheering along as they are also professional people in their respective disciplines.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you want to think the best, but you also have more experience than the average Joe walking into the Megaplex at looking at it and going, so they like it. That's good news.
Yeah.
It was a really positive. It was really encouraging because you could, like to see it in an audience with a group of people and to kind
First
of,
time?
for the first time you kind of feel the vibe, and you can tell if people are engaged or if the crowd in general is engaged, and it just felt. I mean, I felt like they're really engaged, and I just
And also how
great
balanced.
feedback.
Yeah, also how balanced it is. Like it's a heavy film, but there was a lot of times where there's comic relief and people laughed, and it showed us that this is a balance of emotions. It's taking people on an adventure. So our plan is to submit it to a bunch of festivals, see what happens, and the chance of a bigger distributor coming on. And then we already have several to fall back on. So
We've gotten offers. We got an offer from a great company the other day, and we had a phone call with them, and we really like them. They're kind of a boutique distribution company. So we might circle back to them at some point. But we just want to put it out there and kind of see what else
happens.
comes our way.
Yeah.
And,
It's a very good sign.
it was. It was really
Yeah.
encouraging for sure.
great.
So it's awesome.
So what's up next for you guys personally? Projects that you're looking at, starting up, revving up, working together again?
Never.
Well, no, we won't work together again.
No. Forget
Breaking
it.
news!
We're breaking up on.
Fisticuffs on
The
the
last
set
time
of Park City.
last time we're sharing a couch.
That's right.
Oh God. For me, I'm developing another script that I hope would be my next project. After Other Monsters, we'll spend another year or so with festivals and getting distribution. Then, I'd like to go into production on this next film. Of course, I'd love to work with Jonathan and Jahanara. Jahanara Saleh was our other producer. She couldn't be here tonight, but working with the two of them, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
That's
So,
great. That's great.
She's a female Iranian producer who we brought on as a co-producer, and she did a great job.
It's amazing.
But it was good. Like Johanna and I both do some directing, and so our motto is let's do for Ben what we would want someone to do for us.
Yeah,
let's
well
set
said.
him up to where he doesn't have to think about anything but just execute the creative vision of the film. And that's the hard part, is that getting what's in your head to the screen. A lot gets lost in that translation. So it's our job to help minimize what gets lost and set him up for that success. And hopefully on his next script, we get something going. And in the meantime, she and I, right now we're producing a documentary about human consciousness. It's a very fun, interesting.
Sounds fantastic.
It's really, in fact, today we shot in London. I wasn't there, but I produced the whole thing mobily, and we shot kids that can read books with blindfolds on and catch balls, throw balls to each other and catch it, point to colors. It's beyond extrasensory stuff.
It's amazing.
And so,
that's great.
Yeah,
And a really
cool.
a lovely field of discipline to explore.
Yeah.
I think of my good pal Adrian Belich, who had the film Happy, that was a big hit. It's not quite 10 years ago, but it's a little while ago now.
I know
but just that the ephemeral and the unknowable and yet the observable.
Yeah, and measurable. Like
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It is
I
interesting.
can't wait to see it. What's your arc of kind of your time schedule on that?
Today was day one, and
Oh, I see. So you
in the
just
UK,
started out.
we're going to shoot 20 days, and we're trying to bring a certain comedian on, a big name comedian, to host us through it. So
Dom DeLuise. It's Dom DeLuise.
yeah,
God,
it's-
he has
it's-
ESP. You should,
Yeah, no, it's a
Get with
comedian
it.
everyone knows, and you know, we'll meet with him in LA in about a month. And other than that, we have an alien thriller that's supposed to be shot in Bulgaria this winter. So, well, you know, we got a few things going on, and
I'm actually
Right.
an extraterrestrial. If there's any chance for me to read for anything, I feel
Yeah.
like maybe
You could be typecast.
Method. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've lived it. Perfect. Hey, you guys, let's do social media
Oh,
for
uh-huh.
Other Monsters. I realize that the film isn't out,
That's
so
right.
so it's a little bit of a
Yeah.
interim time period. But where can
Yeah.
folks learn more about the film?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a Facebook page. I think it's just Other Monsters the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Other Monsters movie.
Yeah, Other Monsters movie.
Miracle of
And then and Instagram at Other Monsters. Or is it the Other Monsters movie? Sorry, I should know this, but I think it's at Other Monsters movie on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can follow us there, and then we also have a Twitter account that I think is just also at Other Monsters movie. Just Google Other Monsters,
Yeah.
the movie. You'll find all of our links and stuff. And then, I mean, ultimately, like, we'll be on Netflix. You know,
Sure,
I mean, it'd be great to get a little theatrical run, but for sure, you could watch the film eventually on Netflix, like Redbox, Hulu, Amazon.
Yeah.
the modern definition of distribution.
That's right, right.
All
Digital
the streaming
distribution.
platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great.
So,
Well, congratulations,
Yeah.
you guys, and
Thanks so
come back and
much.
visit
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
and tell us, what the latest is, not only on distribution and when the wide release is going to be, but with the other projects you guys are
Yeah.
working on.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
great to see you guys. Congratulations again,
Thanks, man.
and Shaka.
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys, that is Other Monsters. Go right across social media and find out more about the film and keep it on your radar screen. How thrilling is it that top-notch film is being made right here in Utah, and there's only going to be more of it. Really good stuff. Include Other Monsters. We're going to take a break. Joyful Whiskey Fellows will be back with more music. We'll chat with them as well right after this, Because I Love You.